This hypnotherapy session is intended for our guest only. If you feel you're susceptible to getting sleepy during the playback of this recording, please refrain from operating heavy machinery or driving any vehicle while listening.
When everybody keeps retreating, but you can't seem to get enough. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart.
Hello, I am spiritual hypnotherapist, master esthetician, and your host, Sakura Sutter. Welcome to this special edition of Love from the Hip. On this real and raw online edition, I will be hypnotizing real everyday people to help them overcome their real life issues. I will later feature them on my weekly Love from the Hip radio show to follow up and see how they are doing after our online session. As a reminder, this show airs on Wednesdays from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Alternative Talk Radio 1150 a.m. On today's special edition, I will be hypnotizing Jered for smoking cessation. This session is being recorded live and in person in the studio. I would like to mention a few things before I begin this session. Certain parts of this hypnotherapy session will be omitted for the safety of you, my listeners. And when our session starts, Jered will already be in a lucid state, which is pretty much very similar to that dreamlike state before one sleeps. Jered will be fully aware of what he is saying in this session, and I can in no way influence or alter his morals, beliefs, and or values. Before I begin my hypnotherapy session with my clients, I like to ask them questions about the issue I am seeing them for on a conscious level first. It is often interesting to compare notes with the responses they make on a subconscious level and see if they match up. Frequently, people tend to have different answers for why they do things and have different solutions when they are under hypnosis. Jered, thank you for being here today.
Sakura, thank you for having me.
Have you ever been hypnotized before?
No, ma'am, I have not.
And do you have any questions I might be able to answer for you before beginning our session?
I don't have any, no.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about why I'm seeing you today. For smoking, correct?
For tobacco cessation, 'cause I'm a chewer as well.
Okay. So how long have you been smoking and chewing?
I've been smoking regularly since I was 14, so that's 24 years.
Okay. And what made you first want to smoke or chew?
It started out with smoking. My first cigarette was right about when I turned 12.
Okay.
I started again for inclusion and a way to fit in my early adolescence.
Okay. And do you want to quit smoking and chewing?
I do. Yes, ma'am.
Are you currently taking any measures to quit?
I'm currently taking the patch and have been successful, but not 100% successful.
And how long have you been on patches?
I've been on patches probably about 6 months now.
Okay.
I've had to start over at step 1 when I was almost finished with the process. So
Okay.
Yes.
So you kind of sabotaged.
Kind of
your effort.
sabotaged and had to start again. Yeah.
Okay. And so what is your ultimate goal?
My ultimate goal is to be abstinent from any tobacco products.
Okay. All right.
And to remove that vice or crutch out of my life.
Okay. Well, great. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to
All
ask you to close your eyes.
Rock and roll. Yes, ma'am.
And now you are in your safe and sacred space. And as you look around, Jered, do you notice if you are indoors or outdoors?
I'm still outdoors.
And where are you?
I'm still near my beach.
And what else do you notice?
I notice the cliffs around me and the sand below me and ocean to the side.
Mm-hmm. And have you been here before?
Yes, this is a beach I'm familiar with.
Does this beach have a name?
I'm in Hanama Bay.
Okay. And as you continue to explore this space, allowing your imagination to unfold, is there anything else that you notice?
I notice it's warm and quiet because I'm the only one there.
Okay. And how does it make you feel to be in this space?
Safe and peaceful.
Okay. So now I would like for you to find a spot to sit down. And once you are seated, Jered, visualize yourself sitting there and perhaps taking whatever position you need to go deeper and meditate. And taking a big deep breath in and out and focusing on the issue at hand today. And so relaxed and yet able to speak, I would like to ask you, in what way is smoking or chewing tobacco a benefit to you?
As a momentary stressor and anxiety coping tool.
Okay. Anything else?
No, there's nothing else. No, ma'am.
And in what way is smoking or chewing tobacco a detriment to you?
For me, it's a detriment to the longevity of my life, daily activities, as well as the financial strains it puts on my life.
Okay. And in what way is not smoking a benefit to you?
It's a benefit to me. It increases my finances. Easier to do more strenuous activities for longer periods of time. So they kind of go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
A benefit to my relationships with my son and others.
Okay. And how old is your son?
My son is 5.
Okay. Okay. And so in what way is not smoking a detriment to you?
That loss of the momentary quick fix when life is stressful or anxiety occurs.
Okay. Anything else?
Nothing else.
Okay. So, Jered, would you agree then there's part of you that would like to continue to smoke and chew tobacco and another part of you that would like to stop?
I would only slightly agree.
But there's still a conflict.
Only mainly because it's been a tool or a coping mechanism for so long.
Mm-hmm. So it's there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to begin to imagine that these two parts of you are completely separated so that you can put all of the part of you that would like to smoke and chew in one of your hands and all of the other part of you that would like to quit in the other. And after you have done this, please tell me which hand contains which behavior. So which hand would like to quit smoking and chewing?
My right hand is the
Okay.
hand that would like to quit.
Okay. And so then the left hand would like to continue smoking?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So continue to completely separate and keep these two parts separated so that they in no way intersect. And allow yourself to go 100% over into the left hand and without any interruption from the other side. What is the left hand to say about its position, its desire, or its goals?
Only thing I can get is that it's been there. My left hand's been there with me for so long.
Okay.
It's a part of me now.
Anything else?
It would just tell me that the smoking Jered in my left hand would just say that you know, how could you live, continue life without me? Because, I'm such a part of you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So come out of that hand now. Come out of your left hand. And I want you to go 100% over into the right hand. Okay? The hand that would like to quit smoking and chewing. What does the right hand have to say about its position or its desire and goals?
It would say that my left hand is wrong. That I lived most beginning of my life without tobacco products.
Mm-hmm.
And that my life would be, it can be done, and that my life would be improved in almost every aspect without them.
Okay. Anything else?
That'd be mostly important for my son, as an example.
Mm-hmm. Setting an example for your son?
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I want you now to come out of the right hand and go back over into the left hand. What does the left hand have to say to that about setting an example for your son?
That the right hand is right.
Mm-hmm.
That all the examples I had growing up were mistakes.
Okay. Anything else?
No, my left hand doesn't have much to say to my right about that.
Okay. So I'm going to have you, Jered, right now come out of both your hands. And I want you to tell me when was the earliest age that you remember smoking or chewing. What age comes to mind?
Right before I turned 11.
Okay, what's happening?
Before I turned 12.
Okay.
When I was 11.
Okay, so 11 years old. And what's going on in your life then?
I have a older stepbrother,
Okay.
and him and his cousin smoke, and I think it would be funny to see me try a cigarette.
They think it would be funny for you to try a cigarette?
Yes.
Okay. And so you tried a cigarette?
I tried a cigarette so
Okay.
I could be tough like them.
Okay. Okay. So I want you to go ahead and imagine as if that 11-year-old self is sitting with you right now. Do you see him?
Yes.
Okay. What do you notice about him?
He's small, and cute, and innocent.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What is it that he needs at this time?
From me
Mm-hmm.
or
From anyone.
from anyone? a solid role model.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
That's what he needs.
Okay. So, what can you do to support him or give that to him?
A good example to
Okay.
strive to be like.
A good example. Would this good example be smoking or chewing tobacco?
This good example would not be smoking or chewing.
Okay.
It would be dealing with life without substances.
Okay. Anything else to be a good role model?
That's the foundation, the building blocks.
Mm-hmm. So what would you like to say to him?
I would like to say to him that I could be that
You can be that role model for
role
him.
model he needs.
Okay. Okay. And how does he respond to that?
Happy. He's been on a lost path.
He's been on a lost path.
So he's happy to have what he's been looking for.
Yeah, I bet. Great. Is there anything else that he needs?
Just to know that I could be that anchor for him.
Okay. All right. And is there anything else that you want to share with him?
Just that, yeah, no. Just that I'll be that rock he needs to show him the right path.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you tell him that you're him? And that no matter how tough his situation may be in his life right then, that he will survive and move on? Let him see that you are safe and you're here. Does he see that?
Yes, ma'am.
And as difficult as it was to go through his experiences, what was that younger version of you able to learn?
He learned he's been trying to figure things out on his own for too long.
Mm-hmm. He was
He's
very
too
independent.
naive. Yeah.
Naive,
Yes.
but independent
Very independent.
and strong.
He's strong,
Yeah.
but he also wants to fit in.
Okay. Acknowledge and appreciate that younger version of yourself, Jered, for everything they went through and those strengths that they've actually brought into your life. Independence, right?
Right.
Figuring things out on your own. How does that make him feel to acknowledge that?
Makes him feel strong.
And what else would he like to tell you? Anything?
that he doesn't necessarily blame me.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't blame you and he doesn't blame himself, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That he knows we can get through it together.
Yeah, you can. And so how is he feeling now?
He's at peace
Good.
and accepting.
Okay. Is he hopeful?
He is hopeful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. Well, go ahead and say goodbye to him right now, but let him know that you are always here for him, that he is never alone, and that you are here to be that role model for him. And go ahead and say goodbye in whichever way you would like, and let me know when you've done so.
Yeah, he's gone.
Okay. Jered, for right now, I would like you to bring in the next time when you started to smoke or chew. What's another age that stands out for you?
14 years old.
Okay. And what do you notice about your 14-year-old self?
He's very awkward,
Okay.
confused,
Anything
and
else?
shy.
Shy. And what's happening at this time?
Changing schools, adolescence,
Mm-hmm.
the teen years.
Teen years. Okay. And what grade would you be in at this time, Jered?
I'm in 9th grade at this time. I
Ninth
just
grade.
started high school.
Okay. And so bring me back to the memory and the event that took place for you to smoke or chew. What's going on?
I was a loner in 8th grade,
Mm-hmm.
and high school started. And I didn't want to be a loner anymore. And I knew smoking from before.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that's easy way to relate with the other kids.
Okay. Is it considered cool?
No.
Okay. So you started smoking with other kids?
I started hanging out with the other kids that smoked.
Okay.
It was something familiar.
Something you had in common?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So again, I want you to imagine as if this 14-year-old self is sitting right here with you right now. What is it that they need at this time?
I need a lot of things. He needs a lot of things at this time.
Mm-hmm. Like?
Like a male role model.
Mm. Okay.
I think that's the main thing.
And where was your father at this time?
Absent.
Okay. And how long had your father been absent?
Since I was 11, 12.
Okay, right around the time that you started smoking and chewing tobacco, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So what can you do to support your 14-year-old self? Or what can you give to them?
Right now, I can not give him anything.
You can't give him anything?
I don't know what to give him.
So for your 11-year-old self, you were able to show that you could be that male role model for him. Can you do the same for your 14-year-old self?
I can, yes.
Okay. Is that
Cool.
something you want to do?
Yes.
Okay. So what would you like to say to him?
I would like to say a lot of things to him. This is his path, though.
Sure, it's his path, but what would you like to say to him?
I would like to say to him that he was on several different paths, and this one is not the one for him.
So you're telling him not to pick the path he's on? Or that he picked?
Correct.
Why not?
Because his path leads to a harder life.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to tell him?
That he's gonna battle overcoming addiction for the rest of his life on this path.
Mm.
But he doesn't know any other way to deal with what he has to deal with.
Okay. How does he respond to that?
He acknowledges it,
Mm-hmm.
but he's lacking the positive relationships he needs.
Okay. Can you provide that positive relationship that he's lacking?
Yes, I can.
Can you share with him that you are providing that?
Yes, I can.
And what does a positive relationship look like?
Someone successful in life. A male. And steady part of his life. Unwavering.
And you were saying a male, as in a male presence, that is all of this for him?
Yes.
Okay. How does he respond to that? Knowing that you're going to provide this positive relationship for him? This male role model?
He's relieved.
Relieved?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
He would be happy.
Happy. And is there anything else that you would want to share with him?
Just that I would have to be that rock that he needs.
Mm-hmm.
And will be, yeah.
And you will be that rock.
Correct.
Okay. And maybe you can also share with him, as difficult as it was to go through the experiences that he did, that there were still things that he brought to you and strengths that he brought to you in this life, right?
That's correct.
So go ahead and acknowledge and appreciate him for that. And how does that make him feel?
Makes him feel happy and sad at the same time.
And why does it make him feel sad?
Yeah, because of the difficulty and the path he's on.
Okay. Okay.
But he's happy that he knows.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Couldn't do it without him. Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, go ahead and do what you've done before with the 11-year-old and say goodbye for now. And knowing that you can come back to him at any point and he can reach out for you at any point and that he is not alone. And let me know when you've said goodbye.
I said goodbye.
Okay. And Jered, is there any other age that stands out for you?
Just my early 20s, I guess.
Okay.
When I started mixing chewing tobacco with my habit.
Okay. And what's going on then in your life?
I'm doing more physically required jobs.
Okay.
Physically demanding.
Okay. And what do you notice about your 20-year-old self?
My lung capacity is shortened.
Mm. Okay. Anything else?
That I have no intention of quitting tobacco.
Mm. Okay. And are you choosing to mix the chewing tobacco and the smoking because the job is so demanding? What was the reason?
The reasons so I could work harder because I wasn't being impeded with cigarette smoke, my respiratory system.
Work harder by chewing?
Correct. I didn't need to have a cigarette in my hand, distractions, and give my lungs a break.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But still chewing is impeding other areas of your life, correct?
Correct.
How so?
Gum loss,
Mm-hmm.
potential mouth cancers,
Mm-hmm.
and the additional financial burdens.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what is it that your 20-year-old self needs at that time?
He still needs help like the 14-year-old.
Mm. So male guidance, male role model.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
He's still out there
Okay.
fumbling around.
So how can you support yourself at that time? What can you give to your 20-year-old self?
I can give him the knowledge I have today.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead and share that with him. Let me know when you're finished.
I'm finished.
Okay. And how does he respond to that?
Taken aback.
He's taken back.
Yes.
Anything else? Is there anything he would say to you?
He would say that he never realized how close the future was.
Mm. Anything else?
That he's not on the path he should be on, and deserves to be on.
Mm-hmm. And is there anything else that you want to share with him?
Just that I would share with him that his path is not set. It can always change. It always does.
Mm-hmm. And how does that make him feel?
Hopeful
Mm-hmm.
that he doesn't have to be a slave to the addiction.
Right. Okay. And go ahead and do what you did before with your 11-year-old self and your 14-year-old self. Acknowledge and appreciate him for the strengths that he's brought into your life.
He has been acknowledged.
Okay. And how does that make him feel?
Makes him feel proud.
Proud. Anything else?
Makes him feel hopeful about his own future.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay. So go ahead and do what you've done before with the 11-year-old and the 14-year-old self. Just say goodbye for now and let him know that you are here for him and that he can reach out at any time and that he is not alone. And let me know when you've said goodbye.
I've said goodbye.
Okay. When was the next age after that, after your early 20s, that you remember smoking or chewing tobacco?
All of my years.
All of your years. Is there one that stands out, a memory?
I guess with 25,
Okay.
after I quit before I joined the service and started after boot camp.
So you quit before you joined the service, and how old were you then?
Right before I turned 25.
So 24.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's take me to that time, the time when you tried quitting. So you were 24. What else do you notice about that time? What's happening?
I'm preparing myself for a different lifestyle.
How so?
I know that I'm going to be in boot camp for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I'm not going to have be allowed nicotine.
Okay.
So I want to quit beforehand to avoid withdrawals.
Mm-hmm. And did you?
I did.
For how long?
until the airport on my way to boot camp.
Okay. So how long was that? How many months?
I think it was 3 or 4 months.
Okay. And how did you feel during that time that you quit in those 3 to 4 months?
I felt satisfied with myself
Mm-hmm.
after I had gotten over the difficult part.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
I guess I was proud of my accomplishment.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then what happened? Why did you decide to start smoking again after those 3 to 4 months on the way to the airport?
Drinks and I guess mostly social. Well, it was a social thing with the guys I was traveling with.
Okay. Because they were smoking.
Yes, ma'am. And I didn't think it was it's like not a big deal because I knew they weren't going to be around after that day.
Okay. So it was a way of bonding with them, but you knew you wouldn't be with them again?
With them and the cigarettes.
Oh, so you felt like you were just smoking one time.
Yes, I thought it was safe.
Was it one time?
It was until after boot camp.
Oh, until after boot camp. Okay. And so how did you get along through boot camp without smoking? How was that for you?
It was a piece of cake.
Okay. And what made it a piece of cake?
They had us pretty busy all the time.
Okay.
Always occupied, always tired.
Mm-hmm.
No time to think about cigarettes, really.
Mm-hmm. And were you able to bond with these men in other ways?
Yes, ma'am. We were all in the same boat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so then after boot camp, you said you were 25 years old? Is that correct?
Still 24.
Still 24. But so you started smoking again when you were 24 after boot camp?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So go ahead and do what we've done before. I want you to imagine as if that 24-year-old self is sitting right here with you now. And what is it that they need at this time?
He's just looking for a release. And I think that's all he needed right then.
A release?
Yes.
A release from what?
From having, I guess, having my freedoms taken away for that amount of time.
Mm.
And then having them back and just doing what I want, I guess. Making my own choices again.
Mm.
As poor as they were.
Were you not allowed to smoke in boot camp?
No.
You were not?
Not at all.
Okay. So that was part of the reason why you quit too?
Yes.
Okay. But now you're back to making your own choices and you decide to smoke, correct?
Yes. There's some people that I made more of a bond with than others in my group. And that was the first thing they wanted to do.
I see. So again, this is fitting in.
Yes.
Okay. So what would you like to say to your 24-year-old self?
I want to say to my 24-year-old self that just ignorant. Yeah.
You want to say he's ignorant?
Yes.
Why is he ignorant?
Because he thinks he's got it under control.
What does he think he has under control?
Smoking, occasionally in a social situation.
Mm-hmm. So how does he respond to that? You telling him he's ignorant and that he thinks he has it under control?
He's a blockhead who thinks he knows what he's doing.
Okay, so he tells you he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
And what do you respond back?
Just wait and see.
And wait and see what?
Wait and see that I told you so.
Mm-hmm. Because what is happening to you now that he doesn't know?
It gets the addiction's harder and harder.
Mm-hmm.
The more times you try to quit, the longer you use,
Mm-hmm.
the more it becomes ingrained in who you are,
Mm-hmm.
what you do.
And how does he respond to that?
Maybe a little worried, but having fun is more important to him than future repercussions.
And how would you respond to that?
I respond that the social that there's people who can have the same fun in social life without using
Mm-hmm.
the same quality of life and
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Okay. And does he have any response to that?
He's just doing what he knows.
Mm. He's doing what he knows. Does he also need a positive male role model like the others?
He's accepted not having one.
He's accepted it, but is it something he needs?
He's accepted not having one and rejected
Okay.
and rejected one or any. He's
Could-
determined to teach himself
Determined to
how
teach
to be
himself.
a man.
Okay. And how is he doing on that? How is he faring?
He stumbles a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's a slow learner.
Mm-hmm.
He learns the hard way.
So in what ways can you support him?
Just by setting the example for him
Mm-hmm.
and showing him the example, setting the example.
Okay. To be a better man? Or how to be a good man?
For his idea of his idea.
Okay. And how does that make him feel to know that you can provide this example for him?
I guess apprehensive is the word
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for. Just gonna wait and see.
Wait and see. Okay. How does it make you feel that you can be this role model for him?
Hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
determined.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay. Well, go ahead and say goodbye to him as you have done with your 11-year-old self, 14-year-old self, and your early 20-year-old self.
Okay.
Let me know when you've done that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. And just remember that you can visit him at any time and he can reach out to you at any time. And also, he is not alone. And I'd like for you now to bring in a blackboard. Do you see a blackboard?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next to you is some chalk, whatever color you would like. And on this blackboard, Jered, I would like for you to write up 4 traits of a positive male role model. So what would be number 1?
Responsible.
Mm-hmm. What would be number 2?
Caring.
Mm-hmm. What would be number 3?
I mean, empathy. I
Oh,
guess,
empathy?
would be the better
Number
word.
2. Okay.
Yes.
And what would be number 3?
Successful.
Mm-hmm. And what about number 4?
Loved.
Loved. Great. Okay. So let's review these again. And by the way, did you write these, or are they all written the same? Were any written in different colors or written in different ways?
No, ma'am. Just use white chalk.
White chalk. Okay. So number 1 is responsible. Number 2 is empathy. Number 3, successful. And number 4, loved. How does it make you feel to look at those?
I don't know if I have a specific feeling. These are things I always, I guess, carry with me deep in my back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I strive for.
You strive for these. Do you feel that you have met all of these?
I feel like they're mostly works in progress.
Okay.
And some of them are met.
Okay. Does smoking interfere with any of these?
I guess it interferes mostly with number 1.
Mm-hmm. Instead of making you irresponsible?
Making me, yes, in some aspects of my life.
Okay. All right. So quitting smoking then would make number 1 a lot easier.
It would make number 1 more successful, more complete.
Okay. All right. Well, go ahead and set that board to the side right now and know that you can add on to it. I'm sure there are more than 4 traits of a positive male role model.
Yes, ma'am.
But know that you're working towards all of those. And as you set that aside, I would like for you to now go ahead and bring in your mother. And imagine as if she's sitting across from you in this room, and this is a safe space. And what do you notice about your mother?
Notice she's happy, supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, I know.
Okay. And I'd like for you to perhaps notice her in those years when you were smoking. She's still happy and supportive.
No, she's freaking out.
Okay. That you're smoking?
Correct.
Okay. So what would you like to say to your mom?
I was sorry for making her life harder everything it needed to be. And I'm still trying.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how does she respond to that?
She's understanding,
Mm-hmm.
mostly.
Okay.
And still just kind of, like, wants to be my foundation, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Supportive.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And is there anything else you want to say to her?
And that I love her for always being there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, go ahead and say goodbye to her for now. Let me know when you've done so.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And now I would like for you to bring in your father. But I want you to bring in your father right around the age that he was no longer in the picture. So, and imagine as if he's sitting across from you now, and this is a safe space. What do you notice about your father?
He's wild, I guess is what I notice.
Anything else?
On his own program.
Anything else?
Nothing.
Okay. So what would you like to say to him?
I don't know. Just that, I don't know, that I was confused
Mm-hmm.
of what happened, what went down, and why. And I was just a small boy that loved his dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only dad I had, yeah.
Okay. How does he respond to that?
I guess he says he loves me too, but
About what?
I guess maybe a question if he knows or if he really means it.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and ask him.
Yes, ma'am.
What does he say?
That he never really wanted children.
He never really wanted children.
He doesn't know
Oh,
how to take care of them without a woman
Mm.
in his life.
And how do you respond to that?
I have no response.
Okay. Is there anything more that you would want to say to your father?
I don't think so.
No.
I'm
Nothing that you've been holding on to?
no, I've learned to forgive him
Okay.
for being who he is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Whether it's ignorance or not caring, I don't know. It's just forgive him for whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, go ahead and say goodbye to him. Let me know when you've done so.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I want to revisit the hands, Jered. And I want you to go back in to the left hand, the hand that wants to smoke. What's going on over there? Any change?
Yeah, he doesn't feel as heavy anymore as my left hand did before.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I guess it's harder to see the smoking Jered in my left hand.
That's great. Okay. And he had said before that that habit had been there for so long and that it's become so much a part of you. Is that still true?
Still is.
Okay. Does it still feel as much a part of you as it was in the beginning?
At the beginning of,
The left hand had said that smoking was such a big part of you. It still feel a big part of who you are?
kind of, but, you know, I've had a lot of time without then my left hand being an active part of my life that
So you're able to turn it off.
yes,
Okay.
see life without it, without the substance.
Oh, great. Okay. So come out of your left hand now. Go 100% over back into the right hand. What about the right hand? What's going on over there?
It's kind of like a large feeling of warmth and like a large sphere of warmth
Mm-hmm.
and encouragement.
Great. Okay. And does it still feel very strongly that you are setting a bad example for your son by continuing to smoke?
Yes.
Okay. And does it still feel strongly that you're setting a bad example for your younger selves, your 11-year-old self and your 14-year-old self and your 20-year-old self and your 24-year-old self?
Yes, it's a bad example by smoking for them.
Okay. All right. Does it feel, though, that your hands have come to some sort of agreement of working together to help you on this issue?
I think my left hand is always going to be against me.
Always.
Against my right.
Okay. It's not willing to work together at all?
No.
No compromise.
No compromise.
Why not?
Because the left hand is determined,
Determined.
I guess, despite all of the adverse effects.
Determined to do what?
Keep being him.
Okay. So what does the right hand have to say to the left hand?
That it's bigger and stronger than the left. So whether or not there's compromise, the left can't win or have its way.
So the right hand will always win?
Yes, the right will win.
Okay. And does it feel a lot stronger and bigger than when you started
It
this
does.
session? Okay. Okay, great. All right. So, Jered, I would like for you to imagine this new future version of yourself standing in front of you. And this new version of yourself has quit smoking and chewing and has no desire to smoke ever again. Do you see him?
I do.
Okay. So again, keep looking at him and notice how he looks and how he moves, and notice his energy and his emotions. And as I count from 1 to 3, I'm going to ask you to step into that future you so that your feet are in his feet, your arms are in his arms, and you are looking out of his eyes. So as I count 1, 2, 3, step in. How does it feel to be inside that future you?
Feels great. Feels free.
What else?
Feels proud,
Mm-hmm.
accomplished, and healthy.
Okay. And so now I'm going to count from 1 to 3 again, but this time I want you to step into this present you here. So as I count 1, 2, 3, step in. What is it like to be in this present body again?
It feels like I'm part of the other me. Still scared of my left hand.
Okay. Still scared of the left hand?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to revisit that left hand for a moment while you're in your present self. If you could place that feeling of the left hand into an object, what comes to mind?
A ball.
Okay, what kind of ball?
A soccer ball.
Okay. What would you like to do with the soccer ball?
I'd like to kick it out of my room.
All right. So go ahead and kick it. Kick it as far away from you as possible. Let me know when you've done so.
It's gone.
And how did that feel?
Liberating.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Like, made me feel lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Okay.
I've lost weight, dragging me down.
Fantastic. All right. So in that right hand, you were feeling this greatness of and this hope. What object comes to mind that you can hold into your right hand when you think of that?
Guess a balloon comes to mind first.
Okay. Any type of balloon?
It's just a big balloon, big red balloon
Okay. Mm-hmm.
floating.
Okay.
So I'm holding on to a spring.
All right. And how does it make you feel to hold this big red balloon?
Comfort,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that it's, just floating right there above me.
Okay. So it's always with you.
Yes.
And is it something that you would like to place in your left hand too?
Yes, I'd like both hands to share this.
Okay. So go ahead and do that. Let me know when you've done so.
Yes, ma'am.
And how does that feel?
It feels good to be holding the balloon with my left hand.
Perfect. Okay. So I want you now to imagine for a moment while you're in this present body another blackboard. And on this blackboard, I would like for you to write up 4 things to do instead of smoking to cope, as you had said earlier. What would be number 1?
To take a mindfulness exercise break.
Okay. Like meditation?
Yes, to meditate. and
Meditate. Okay.
Be mindful of my feelings, and
Okay. Is that number 2?
that's part of number 1.
Part of number 1. Okay. And what would be number 2?
Physical activity.
Like what?
Something cardio
Mm,
that requires my lungs.
okay. And what would be number 3?
Sunflower seeds.
Okay. Just to keep your mouth busy?
My mouth and hands busy.
Okay. And what about number 4?
A picture of my son.
Mm. Okay. And were these all written the same?
They were.
Okay. White chalk again?
Yes, ma'am. Except for number 4 is just a picture of my son.
Okay. So let's go through these again. So number 1, this would be your coping mechanism, right? Deal with whether it's anxiety or whatever stresses you have. So number 1 is taking up a mindful exercise, right? Like meditation. Right?
Yes.
Number 2 is physical activity, which would require some cardio.
Yes.
And number 3 is sunflower seeds, right? And number 4 is a picture of your son.
Yes, ma'am.
How does it make you feel to look at this board? Is this something doable for you?
It's very doable.
Yeah. Is there any part of you that doubts that you can do any of this?
No.
Okay. All right.
Just don't know why I haven't followed it. It sounds easy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, it gets easier as you do it, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Practice makes perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
And so again, Jered, just remember that this board is always with you and you can always add to it. I'd like to hope that there's more than 4 activities that would be a coping mechanism for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's go back to this present body and future body. And do you still see that future presence there, that future body?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And now being back here in this present body, are you still that much afraid of the left hand?
No, ma'am. I've forgot about my left hand
Okay.
because
Great.
I booted it out of my room.
Perfect.
Still have my balloon.
Okay. So out of these 2 bodies, though, which one feels better to you? The future one that's quit smoking and chewing, or this present one here?
The future one
Okay.
is at peace.
Okay. So let's leave you in that body. And I would like for you to allow this new version of yourself to guide you through your daytime, get you up out of bed in the morning, guide you through your activities. And at night, when you're ready to go to sleep, make sure you're in this future body so that it may guide you through each and every one of your dreams. And any time during the day when you feel you may have slipped out of that new body, just do what we've done here. Just close your eyes, see that new you, count to 3, and step in. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you were to allow this new version of yourself to guide you through each and every moment of the future, what would life be like for you in 24 hours?
More confident. More experienced.
Anything else?
Happier.
Yeah.
without having a heavy left hand, you could say.
Not having a heavy left hand. Okay. And if you were to allow this new version of yourself to guide you through each and every moment of the future, what would life be like for you in 1 week?
It would be more money in my pocket, more activities with my son.
Okay.
Because I can play with him longer.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And just a little bit more confidence under my belt
Good.
of being the new me.
Okay. And if you were to allow this new version of yourself to guide you through each and every moment of the future, what would life be like for you in 1 month?
Successful.
Right.
And feeling pretty healthy.
Mm. Okay. And if you were to allow this new version of yourself to guide you through each and every moment of the future, what would life be like for you in 3 months from today?
It would be confident and non-smoking Jered.
Mm.
And but still mindful and wary of my left hand.
Okay. Anything else?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay. Would you still be using your blackboard or adding to it?
I would.
Okay. All right. So, Jered, I would like to ask the subconscious mind right now to create for us a story, a metaphor, which will help us to understand its message. And we may not know where the story begins or where it ends or what happens in the middle, just allowing it to unfold before us as we proceed through the story. So if you were telling the story, not a memory, would it begin indoors or outdoors?
Indoors comes to mind first.
Okay, where are you?
Just, I guess in my house.
Okay. And what's happening? What are you doing?
I guess I'm just beginning my day, hanging out.
Mm-hmm. And what happens next?
I'm just working on my routine and looking forward to time with my son.
Okay. And when you say routine, what's happening?
I'm drinking coffee in the morning. I'm watching the news.
So you're drinking coffee, then watching the news.
And whatever work I might have to get done.
Is this schoolwork?
Yeah, and chores.
Okay.
Sometimes that's schoolwork.
Okay. Anything else happen?
No, I'm just wrapping up what I have to do at the house. Looking forward to going outside.
Okay. All right.
Because it's a nice day.
So let's go back to your story. And you're just in your house, you're indoors, you're beginning your day, going through your morning routine, right? And your daytime routine, and then looking forward to playing outside with your son. So was there anywhere in that story that you were smoking or chewing?
at first, but I suppressed it, I guess. And no. So no.
No,
This is a routine
without doing it.
tobacco.
Yeah. So you're able to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, fantastic. Well, we're coming to the end of our session, and in a moment I will be counting from 1 to 5, bringing you back to this current time and space. But before I do that, I want to remind you that you will remember everything we have done and said in this session, and your subconscious mind is invited to continue the work that we started today, continuing to manifest the changes and the healing we initiated. And so returning here as I count, 1, 2, 3, coming up, 4, aware of this time and space, and 5, fully alert and enthusiastic about the path that lies before you. And so take a moment to collect yourself. And how are you feeling?
Tingly.
Any different from when you walked in the studio today?
I'm feeling like the future Jered.
Well, that's fantastic.
So, yes, I'm still collecting my senses, so
Yeah.
bear with me.
Still processing. Well, no, I was just going to say, as a reminder, be kind and patient with yourself and give yourself ample time to process and digest the session we had today. But thank you for coming on my online show and not only being vulnerable for the listeners, but also helping others as well with your story. There are many out there like you trying to kick the habit.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And it's always helpful to overcome an issue when one can relate to another and not feel alone. So much gratitude.
Yes, ma'am. I
And
hope it helps somebody else.
As well as yourself.
Definitely myself.
I will follow up with you in the weeks to come and see how this session has helped you. And I want to say thank you again. And
Thank you.
thank you, Eric, for helping to make this online show possible. And thank you, the listener, again for making this show possible. And remember to tune in to my weekly Wednesday on-air show of Love from the Hip from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Alternative Talk Radio. You can find me at lovefromthehip.com or sakuraskinandmind.com. Please like me on Facebook at Love from the Hip or follow me on Instagram at Love from the Hip, and that's HYP. And if you are interested in helping others while helping yourself through a hypnotherapy session online or have comments or questions, please email me at sakura@lovefromthehip.com or call 206-730-7429.